This is the key to the 2020 Mazda CX-9, and with prices starting at Kenya shilling 7.8 million, do you reckon it will sway you from the pertinent Germans? Let's find out with the front design. What do you reckon this car looks like? Look at the grille. How does it resemble? What does it resemble? The S Superman, but only with the Mazda badge, and this is what is called the Kodo design. Now, Kodo is a fluidic language that Mazda have employed on most of their vehicles. CX-5, CX-9, CX-30, Mazda 6, Mazda 3, and so forth. So, that design language, elegance, fluidity in motion, and of course, when you add such touches like this chrome grille, gives this car a premium look and feel. Look at the chrome on the lip as well. Again, denoting premiumness, and of course the big bumper, the low bumper, denotes that it is an athletic and sporty vehicle. So as we move over to the side angle, this is where you see the flowing symmetry of the Kodo design. What Mazda have done is not to overcrease the body surface with too many lines, but as you can see, this particular line, when it's enhanced all the way to the hip line and stretches all the way to the back, that denotes symmetry. Somebody took time to design this particular kind. Obviously, as you can see, you have some black cladding on the wheel arcs, on the bumper, on the front seal, all the way to the back. Again, denoting that this car can do a little bit of off-roading. Going to shags is not a problem in the CX-9. As you move to the back, you can see the sloping roofline. This also denotes that this car has some sporty nature. Remember, Mazda also renowned for that sporty nature. Remember the RX-8 and the RX-7. Also, the MPS version of this car might just come very soon. You never know. Keep it cars with Big Boy Trev. We're going to give you a lowdown on the latest from the world of Mazda. Let's move over to the back side. Again, sloping roofline enhances this look. It looks like a station wagon as well. Then you do have this chrome wraparound that creases all the way to the lights, which are wraparound as well, with the LED technology giving this car that je ne sais quoi that we keep on saying on cars with Big Boy Trev. Sleek, Japanese styling, Kodo. I mean, it stands a cut from the rest. Obviously, as you can see, the big badge of the Mazda branding over here with the italics of the CX-9 all-wheel drive, and of course the Sky Active G, which is a technology that we're going to discuss as we do the on-road performance of this particular car. Power, performance, efficiency wrapped up in one word, Sky Active G. So stay tuned, I'm going to give you a lowdown on that. But question is the matter inside quite different? Is it as stylish, is it as premium as the German competition? Let's find out. Let's walk in and see what this car has to offer. So guys, you've seen from the walk around the subtle differences between this 2020 Mazda CX-9 and the previous one that we reviewed on Cars with Big Boy Trev. But it's 2020. What has Mazda done to improve the quality aspect of the Mazda CX-9? So step inside and let's see what this particular cabin has to offer. As you see, this particular cabin now has been enhanced with a lot of premiumness. The first thing that you notice is this long elongated slab of aluminium, brushed aluminium trim that's on the dashboard. It denotes premiumness, it denotes quality, and it extends all the way to the air vents, to obviously the lining around the gearbox console, the steering wheel as well, and across the door panels. I'm telling you, the level of quality and sophistication that's oozing out of this CX-9 is just but amazing. Right below the system is this dual zone climate control system that allows you to vary temperature between the driver and passenger. But only that, at the back you do have also another zone of air conditioning. So it's actually a 3-zone climate control system that allows you to vary temperatures for the rear passengers. Now this makes this CX-9 very comfortable, and with the addition of heated and cooled seats, I'm telling you, the experience of this car during long distance is just but amazing. Moving over to the gearbox console, as you can see, there's this sandalwood trim that actually lines the gearbox console. As you've known, sandalwood is also found on Yamaha pianos. If you love grand pianos, it's made out of wood. This sandalwood is real wood, and I can tell you that is the level of sophistication that Mazda are trying to employ on the CX-9. Not too far away from the BMW X5 or the Audi Q7, I can tell you this one is not playing. Obviously, the gear shift is actually surrounded with a metallic trim and piano black finish, again denoting premiumness. Now, moving over to the instrument cluster, this is where I love the design. Mazda have tried to bring back that retro style that you've probably seen on the Mazda 323 of the 80s. And I can tell you, from the left hand side you do have the tachometer, right hand side you do have the gauges where you can see the temperature and of course the fuel levels, and in between is the speedometer, which is a digital gauge and actually gives you vehicle dynamics from range, temperature, your fuel efficiency, and of course all this information can be projected via this heads-up display that comes as standard in the CX-9. As you can see, Big Boy is very comfortable. The seats are very, very comfortable. As you can see, a lot of lumbar support. If you're a big person like myself, you're able to sit comfortably and drive as comfortable as possible in the Mazda CX-9. Then the seats are electronically controlled for your taste and preference. And then also you have memory settings so that you can have different people driving the car. If it's your wife or yourself or your valet, you can change the settings, and once you get back to the car, you press the memory setting and it will revert to the previous settings so that you're able to drive this car as comfortably as possible. The seats, like I said earlier, comfortable Napa leather quality. I'm telling you, this is the kind of leather you probably see in a high-end German vehicle, and I can tell you, Napa leather perforated, heated and cooled is just but amazing. You need to feel these seats, and Mazda have done so much to ensure that the CX-9 remains premium as possible. But that's just a third of the story.
The Japanese are known for two key things. The first being, of course, now technology, and the second being attention to detail. And I'm going to take you through each one of those, starting, of course, now with technology. And I'm going to start from the front all the way to the back of the Mazda CX-9. Coming to the windshield, we have a camera at the top over here, and that helps, of course, now with the autonomous emergency braking that this car has, as well as the lane keeping assistant. And in addition to that, it has rain sensing wipers. So the first thing to note on this Mazda Connect system with this beautiful 9-inch screen is the first thing they've done here is made sure that it has greater clarity. It's better resolution than the older display. It's bigger, it's brighter, and it's a lot easier to use. Now, on the Mazda iConnect system, what they make sure to do is that for driver safety and making sure that you focus on the road, they have a heads-up display and they disable the touchscreen when the car is in motion. However, now when the car is stationary, you can actually touch the screen. It's enabled. So what this system allows you to do is three key things. So the first is communication. You can connect your phone using the USB or using Bluetooth, and you can make and receive calls when you're on the move. Secondly, we are looking at navigation. Mazda has maps natively built into the car, so you don't actually need to connect this to the phone for the maps to work. Now, these maps actually work for the entire sub-Saharan Africa. So if you decide you want to do a cross-country road trip going down to Tanzania, going to Uganda, in fact, driving all the way to South Africa, you will have built-in maps that do not need network connectivity to work. And that's actually pretty amazing. Now, when it comes to music, we have a Bose 12-speaker surround sound system with a subwoofer in the boot, and I'm sure Trevor was loving that. A lot of fantastic, incredible clarity and great amounts of power, because you have to remember, again, this is the Japanese and they do these things really, really well. One of the key features that this car has is both Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. These are screen mirroring services that allow you to mirror the screen of your phone and show that display on this big, beautiful 9-inch display, and give you additional features that are powered by the internet. So for instance, if I jump in over here and go into Android Auto, the first thing that you'll see is a map, and this map, of course, has real-time traffic information. In addition to that, you have access now to Google's voice assistant. So let's assume you are a politician. One thing that you can do is ask the assistant, take me to State House.
Navigating to State House.
And as you can see, the route to State House has been shown over here by Google Maps showing on this display. In addition to this, you can do quite a number of things. You can see your calendar entries. If you're on the move, you're on business, you have a meeting, it will actually pop up and tell you have a meeting. And if you had put the location, it will guide you to that location. In terms of that, you can also play podcasts, you can listen to music, you can look at news, the full suite of any Apple or Android phone. Whatever technology it's allowing you to have, you can actually see that on this car while you're on the move. Moving over to the side here, we have, of course, now one of the changes in the 2020, a 360-degree camera. So you don't just have a reverse camera anymore, you have a 360-degree camera. You can see all the way around the car when you're parking, as well as parking sensors that are over here to make it easier for you to maneuver this car when you're on the move. Something that is a bit of a fun fact is this car is longer than a Land Cruiser VX. So this car actually hides its size very well. And all of this technology actually allows you to maneuver this very large car into and out of parking spaces, whether they be in a basement of a mall or just that tight space for the gate when you're entering the house. Coming around to the back of the Mazda CX-9, and this is where you begin to see that this is a premium vehicle. We have to start, of course, now with these beautiful Napa leather seats in espresso color with white contrast stitching, beautifully designed because the Japanese, like I had mentioned, pay incredible attention to detail, and you can see it in the back seat over here. Very comfortable seats and incredible amounts of space. This seat is set to Trevor's driving position. He's 6'1", I am 5'9", and you can see there's a lot of space for both my knees and for my feet under the front seat over here. Incredible amounts of space. Keeping it with space, we have to talk about, of course, these seat pockets at the rear. They actually have 2 of them, so you have enough space to put stuff like your phone at the top and something else at the bottom here, as well as space for you to put anything that you want inside here, including drinks. So looking at the side over here, the door pockets, they have space enough for you to put a cup when you're on the move, and we also have additional 2 cup holders in the middle here just to make sure that you can keep your drinks secure when you're on the move. Now, inside over here, we actually have an additional space as well as 2 high-speed USB charging points to make sure that you're able to charge devices in the back seat of this car. When it comes to keeping yourself hot or cold when you're on the move, we have 3-zone air conditioning, like Trevor had mentioned, which means that the passengers in the front can select different temperature for the person on the left and different temperature for the person on the right, but the back is considered 1 zone, and you can control that through this beautiful interface over here at the back, which also has the vents. You can switch on the air conditioning for the back, switch it off, choose the fan speed, choose the temperature, and something that is very interesting at this price point, you can actually have heated seats at the back here. So not only do you have this beautiful Napa leather, this incredible Japanese rosewood and aluminum inserts all over the place, you actually have heated seats for this very cold weather that you happen to be in right now. In addition to that, because you're sitting at the back of this car, there's actually a shade in addition to the privacy glass so that you can keep yourself hidden from the 1-inch while you're sitting here in the lap of luxury. Now coming round to the third row of this Mazda CX-9, and as you can see, I'm 6'9", and there's just enough space for my knees over here, and this Napa leather extends all the way to the back. It's actually a very comfortable space to be in, although I would suggest that you would put probably kids in the back here, adults for a short stretch. In addition to that, we actually have 3-point safety belts for people at the back here, and places to put a lot of stuff in the back here. You can actually put a mobile phone, you can put something to drink, there are cup holders at the back, and something that is new for the 2020 edition, you actually have USB charging points, fast charging at the back for the people in the third row. Coming round to the back of the Mazda CX-9, and one of the major changes that has happened in the 2020 edition is the addition of a power tailgate with gesture control. So with the key in my pocket, all I need to do is wave my foot under the rear bumper, and the tailgate will open automatically, revealing our large, wide, usable space. When all 7 seats are up, you have about 400 liters of capacity over here. But if I pull these 7 seats down, which is very easy to do, you have access to almost 1,000 liters of capacity. Under here, we have a full-size spare tire and the subwoofer for the Bose 12-speaker surround sound system, in addition to a 12-volt socket over here for powering any devices that you might have at the back over here, and hooks to make sure that you can keep stuff solid when you're on the move. But it's time for us to take this on the road and let Trevor let you know what this 2.5-liter turbo can do.
So guys, you've seen from the exterior and the interior, Mazda have done subtle changes to ensure that this particular car remains premium. But the biggest question still remains, does this car have better power, better performance, better efficiency than the previous generation? Mazda has not changed the engine. It's still a 2.5 liter turbo petrol with 16 valves direct injection, and of course has something called Sky Activity, which basically enhances how the valves open and close to give you much more performance and power. But what they've done, they've remapped the ECU to give you 10% extra power. So you're talking about 170 kilowatts or 250 horsepower and 420 newton meters of torque that is sent to the four wheels courtesy of a 6-speed automatic transmission. If you step on the gas and you really want some urgency like this, and then it will hang on to the lower gears to give you maximum torque, give you maximum output, and that feel that you feel. And of course, when you put on the sporty setting, then you're able to explore the full potential of this engine. Of course, the throttle will become sharper, the steering will beef up, suspension will go down slightly, so that you have that maximum feel when you're driving a Mazda Sport MPS vehicle that probably you've seen on the Mazda 6 MPS or the Mazda 3 MPS, which you're going to test out soon. But that's not the story. That's not their story today. Today it's all about the CX-9. How does it feel on the road? So it's urgent, it's peppy, it's got too much power actually for a young family sedan sort of SUV setup, but it feels very European. It's quiet. And one of the things that I do like about this particular car is the level of noise, vibration, and harshness. What Mazda have done is to insulate, the transmission tunnel, the firewall, and even the door panels, so that the amount of noise that's getting into the cabin is very minimal. You can actually drive this car hard, but it doesn't feel like you're stressing. It doesn't feel like you're feeling the vibrations of the engine. It is tuned to a level where you have peace of mind in this particular car. Even right now, I'm coasting, and we can have a conversation. I can whisper to you without struggling to talk to you so much. And that is so important because the SUV family, actually, the guys from Germany, BMW X5, the Mercedes GLE, the Porsche Cayenne, have this sort of feel. And that is something I'd like to, give props to Mazda. They've really tried to make this car so premium, and that is so important. Safety is a critical component when it comes to SUVs, and this particular CX-9 has all the bells and whistles you'll probably find in a German vehicle. So let's start. Active safety. You do have, of course, anti-lock braking system, the umbrella ESP electronic stability program, and of course you do have the emergency autonomous braking that is useful for city traffic. If you don't step on the brake and there's an obstacle behind, it will brake for you. It has cross traffic alert, blind spot assist. It's got all the bells and whistles to ensure that you remain safe. But in case all hell breaks loose, then you can rely on the 8 airbags that are strewn across the cabin, and of course a 5-star passenger safety rating that gives this car one of the best ratings as far as carrying families is concerned globally. So Mazda actually doing their job quite well. So good power, good performance, and of course safety is up there.
So guys, we're going a bit off-road with the Mazda CX-9 because if you're the kind of person who owns a car like this, occasionally you're going to have to go up country or to go check out the site. So we are simulating that in our off-road course at the moment, which is in the middle of a tea farm in an undisclosed location. What we have now is a rough Maram road, which is exactly what you find when you turn off the road on the way to see your grandparents. Now, like we had mentioned, it's a full 7-seater, so you're able to go with your entire family. Now we have very good ground clearance over here, and that allows for the suspension to have longer travel, making it actually very comfortable when you're going over these unpaved roads. Now, the other thing is what Trevor had mentioned when it comes to technology, which is the G-Torque Vectoring Plus, which started, of course, now in the Mazda CX-30, which you have reviewed before, and has come all the way up to the big brother over here. Now, what that does is that it actually brakes each individual wheel to make sure that the wheel on the opposite side of the axle maintains traction when you're off the road. So in addition to the high ground clearance, you have that G-Force Vectoring, which is making sure that you have traction on every surface that you happen to be on. Now, in addition to this, there's actually a separate button for traction control off in any off-road situation where you might need to switch off the traction control to make sure that you get maximum power from all the wheels on the ground. So I have to say, so far, it's doing a really good job. And in addition to that, we have this excellent 360-degree camera, which I can switch on right now, which gives you a bird's eye view of where the car is and what it is doing, giving you, of course, a lot of visibility when you're off the road. Now, I wouldn't say that this is the type of car that you can drive all the way to Lodwar in, but it can handle itself very well on unpaved surfaces and any situation where you might need to go around a truck that has stalled or to go deep into the shamba to make sure that you're taking care of your investments and everything is fine. But at the moment, I think it's time for us to get back on the tarmac, discuss value for money.
So we've tested the Mazda CX-9 2020 edition, and I can tell you, oh my God, this particular car has blown me away. They've enhanced it even further, and now I can tell you I am torn between the Germans or this particular car. Mr. Rigi, what are your thoughts on this particular car?
Well, the CX-9 was always an incredible package. It was great value for money because it generally is punching above its weight. It has the interior, the looks, the power in the engine, and of course now the technology that I would say puts it just at the top of the pack when it comes to this class.
Now, how much does this cost on the road?
Well, prices for the Mazda CX-9 start at 7.8 million shillings. This comes, of course, with CMC's 3-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty, whichever comes first.
Now, we know this particular car exists in a space where there's competition. And we've got so many questions, people asking us, why are you comparing this particular car with the Germans? Mr. Mirigi, who are the key rivals on the ground for this CX-9 with what you've seen?
Well, when it comes to luxury 7-seat SUVs, I obviously have to talk about the Hyundai Santa Fe, which we've reviewed on our show below. And I am actually in a position to say that it can work against the Germans. I'm actually willing to say that this can actually be potential competition for the BMW X5.
Wow. Guys, do you reckon that this particular car can compete with the Germans? Send us your thoughts. Seen on the social media notes below. We'll get back to you with the feedback next week. Well, signing out, this is Big Boy Trev.
My name is Birigi. Drive safe
and be safe.